knowledge and wisdom. So without further ado, please help me welcome my mentor, our distinguished elder, Professor Irvin Jones.
Thank you all for being here. I regret that we have to be here on this type of occasion, but we have to deal with history as it develops. And that you are here all dressed in black, or those of you who are not in black, you are at least dressed, adds to the importance of this moment. I'm not going to give a speech. I just want to talk just for a few minutes. You know, we are in a unique situation. We are located here in a learning laboratory where we have segregated ourselves away from the community which surrounds us for the purpose of learning, gaining a higher education, developing skills that we can now take out into the larger world and be of service to people within our community. And we all come from communities where incidents like what occurred in Ferguson are all too familiar to us. Michael Brown is just one more example of what can happen to people who are in a position where they are lorded over by others. And when you look at the facts, it's a sad story. I recall when I was 7 years old, growing up in a place called LaGrange, North Carolina. My cousin was gunned down by a police officer on his way home from choir practice one Wednesday evening. And since that time, I've run into these events time and time and time again. And we go from Michael Brown on this end all the way back, and in fact, I kind of made a note of some of those that I can remember. Amadou Diallo, Robert Davis, Timothy Thomas, Sean Bell, Oscar Grant, Frank Jude, Jonathan Farrell, Katherine Johnson, Kendrick McKay, Kenneth Chamberlain, Eric Garner, Ezell Ford, and many, many more. So the fact that another black person was gunned down by a white police officer is nothing new. What is new is that we are concerned about it today. And in Ferguson, people were concerned about it. And our concern, though, as demonstrated here today, must be a first step, because there is much more that we need to do in order to protect ourselves and our communities from further events like this. What we need to have on this campus and in this community, Durham, where similar events have occurred, is a dialogue. We need to begin to talk to each other about the dangers which await us out in the streets and develop some strategies that we can use and that we can impart to our loved ones, our nephews, our sons, our daughters, our brothers and sisters on how to avoid the kind of thing that happened in Ferguson. We need to use our community service connection to spread out in this community around where we are located and talk to young people and old people about the dangers that they find themselves in and help them to develop strategies so that they are not victimized by what happened to Michael Brown in Ferguson. But we know that the question is not if there will be another incident like this, but when and where. Sadly so. When and where. And if we don't use the resources that we have available to us here to develop some strategies, to talk it through, and then to go out and help others to deal with this situation, then we will have failed Michael Brown and others. One of the things that we have to understand is that the law, as it is presently in place, protects police officers. That's why police officers aren't prosecuted. That's why they aren't going to jail. I mean, if you do exactly what this officer in Ferguson did to anybody, you would be in jail. There would be no question about it in anybody's mind. But the reason that it is the other way around is because the law presumes that police officers did what they did with justification and with authority. That is a law that we need to change. And we can't change it by having rallies and memorial services. We can't change it by getting mad and burning down buildings and breaking out glass in stores and stealing a six-pack of 40s. Right. We change this reality by gaining power, using power, and maintaining the power that we have. And Ferguson is really a great example of this. You have a community of 21,000 people, of which roughly 69% are African American. And they have a police force with 53 officers, 3 of whom are African American. And you look at the city council in this same little town, and out of 6 members of the council, there is 1 African American. That is an abject failure of power. That's an abject failure of power. It occurs, it results from the failure of people in Ferguson to recognize that they have power and then to exercise that power. All they have to do is register and vote. That's a sensible solution to many of the problems. Certainly a sensible first step with a lot.